Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to a new webinar of ICCG Country Focus. I am Isra Osama, Media and Communications Officer at the Islamic Chamber of Commerce and Development, and today's moderator. In light of the global push for economic diversification, our Country Focus platform serves as a crucial link, connecting private sector leaders, government officials, and chambers of commerce representatives to uncover countries' investment opportunities, foster trade exchange, enhance investment capabilities, and promote economic integration, paving the way for sustainable growth in the ever-evolving global economy. With its vast potential for economic growth and investment, South Africa will be the spotlight for today's webinar. A nation that has consistently showcased its exceptional economic and developmental prospects. Recognized as one of the fastest-growing economies in the African region, South Africa is brimming with opportunities across various sectors. So let's explore its promising sectors and strength areas. The webinar is in partnership with the Minara Chamber of Commerce. In the beginning, I'd like to introduce my esteemed speakers who will be sharing their powerful insight with us today. Our first speaker is Mr. Yunus Hussain, Acting Deputy Director General of Investment and Industrial Development at the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. We have also Ms. Miriam Mesa, Senior Portfolio Manager, Foreign Direct Investments at Wesgro, the official tourism, trade and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. And we have Mr. Ibrahim Patel, President of Minara Chamber of Commerce. Then we have Dr. Herbert Mandela, Founder, Visionary President of Global Africa Entrepreneurs Networks. So welcome our panelists, and we are so glad to have you with us today. Our first speaker is Mr. Yunus Hussain, Acting Deputy Director General of Investment and Industrial Development at the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. Mr. Yunus has over 20 years of experience in senior management within the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, including roles in trade development and export programs. He served as South Africa's Economic Council in Chicago and currently focuses on investment promotion and partnerships with the private sector. Mr. Yunus also oversees the presidential investment drive targeting $100 billion over 5 years and represents the department in forums to position South Africa as a leading investment destination. So welcome, Mr. Yunus, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation to participate in the webinar. So, Mr. Yunus, could you please tell us more about South Africa's economic landscape and its significance as a trade hub in Africa, and also how the national government promotes investments and economic growth across the country?
Thank you very much, Moderator Ezra, and thank you, the ICCD and Minara Chamber for inviting me to speak. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to everybody on this call. It's my pleasure to speak on the South African economy, its trade and investment potential. South Africa is an open economy, an economy that is 65 million people, but it's an economic powerhouse on the African continent. It's Africa's most industrialized and technologically advanced economy. South Africa trades with the global world. It's always been a trading nation, but post 1994, it has moved from commodity exports to much more higher technological composition of exports, exporting vehicles, machinery, and is a net exporter of food. South Africa's main trading partners are China, Germany, India, and the bulk of the African continent. It's ranked as an economy as a 33rd largest economy but it's the 35th largest export market. Its trade balance is ranked 19th, and it's normally in the surplus. That just shows you the openness of the economy. It's a member of the WTO. South Africa's average weighted tariff is basically 4.3%. The simple average tariff is about 7.3%. Our basket of import goods that comes into South Africa, 60% of that is duty free. That just shows you the South African market. Today, South Africa exports to the global world a significant number of industrialized products, but particularly, I think for you, if you don't know that South Africa as a net food exporter today is the second largest citrus exporter globally, producing soft citrus as the seventh largest production capacity in the world. It exports in number one macadamia nuts. Similarly, the export of avocados. But more particularly, it's a significant market for the export of meat, particularly the standards in halal meat. More than 50% of our halal meat goes into the Middle East today, into Kuwait, Qatar, and the growing market of Saudi Arabia. South Africa platform has been built on a trade liberalization program, trade policy, which is, as a small market, is built on an export platform. It has one of the finest market access regimes for companies thinking of locating in South Africa as a regional manufacturing or services hub. South Africa has market access with the EU through the SADC EU Free Trade Agreement, to the SACU EFTA agreement, to the SACU Economic Partnership Agreement with the UK. It has preferential trade agreements with Mercosur and SACU. And the largest free trade agreement is with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is 54 countries, 1.2 billion people, and a market of $3.4 trillion, which Africa's population is expected to grow by 2050 to 2.5 billion people. So South Africa forms that particular platform for companies to look at setting up as a regional manufacturing hub into the African continent. So as I said, that in terms of the agro processing, about 60%, 181 countries South Africa has market access to with those market access arrangements. We also, South Africa also is traditionally a mining nation and exports a significant number of commodities. It is a significant player in the mining industry. It is the third largest platinum production producer. It has the world's largest reserves in PGMs, but equally or so in manganese and chrome. And for the minerals of the future, or the minerals for just energy transition, South Africa is a significant market in the critical mineral value chain, with our neighboring countries also having the likes of cobalt, lithium, and copper. So that makes us one of the distinct advantages of South Africa is that it has abundant natural resources. We have a critical mineral strategy in terms of which we've identified 21 critical minerals that we would like to value add or beneficiate in our country. South Africa has a world-class infrastructure and a significant infrastructure rollout. The country is undergoing massive infrastructure development. More than R1 trillion has been earmarked for infrastructure in the coming years, in the next 3 years. But also, we are now going through a number of reforms through privatization and encouraging private participation in our rail, in our port, and so forth in other areas of infrastructure. Those are some of the reforms that we are doing. We've done significant reforms in energy, making South Africa today a global player in the renewable energy market. We have another number. The unit I run is Invest SA. It's an investment agency, a national investment agency on behalf of the government. It's a one-stop shop agency that focuses from investor inquiries like today, right up to providing information to investment facilitation, advising you on the number of special economic zones that we have in our country that are sector specific, but also general, and telling you what are the special incentive benefits like the corporate tax rate or customs control area in these kind of facilities. But South Africa, as a colleague of mine will also tell you, doing the presentation through Westrow, is a wonderful destination in terms of the quality of work life and tourism. It has a very young population, so there's availability of talent and skills development, but it's also recognized as the financial or nerve center of the African continent. Our stock exchange is ranked 19th by global market capitalization. It's the home of a number of multinationals that represent the largest concentration of multinationals are in South Africa, but equally so, South Africa has many domestic companies by a global, such as Sasol, Naspers, Anglo American, and the likes. So South Africa has a number of diversified sectors. It welcomes trade, it welcomes partnerships for companies that are looking to joint venture or enter on their own, to invest as a manufacturing platform. That's the work I do to help you to navigate that landscape and advise you on those opportunities to work in our country as a platform to enter as either a regional manufacturing or services hub. We've also curated an investment project book that I will gladly send to Ezra, who can circulate that to you. It's a project book of public and private sector investment projects that are ready for investment through our SOEs, meaning in the port, rail, road, and railways, but also in the areas of energy, a significant opportunity in energy for us, also in nuclear energy, in open gas energy terminals, building of refining capacity, petroleum products. But also South Africa is become the rail, but also the pharmaceutical hub on the African continent. We now capable and looking for further opportunity to produce vaccines and medical devices from South Africa into the broader continent. We're also looking at areas of developing isotopes and materials for medical products. And we're looking at the areas as our transition into the energy transition. The bulk of our industrial policy focuses on three areas: in decarbonization, in diversification, and the digital economy, so digitization of the economy. And we're looking at investors today. South Africa has about under 1% of global market share in automotive, but it's a significant player in the sense that all the major producing OEMs are presented in South Africa. So if you don't know, some of the premium vehicles that are in your market are exported from South Africa. Your Mercedes-Benz, your C-Class Mercedes-Benz is exported from South Africa. Your X3 BMW is exported from South Africa. Your Golf or Polo range, South Africa is the largest hub for Volkswagen Polo. So we have a very big industry in the automotive sector, and we're looking at working with players in the areas of EVs, e-mobility, electric vehicles, and batteries, both for mobility but also for storage, and for commercial and industrial use. So we have, through that project book that I can circulate to you, significant projects for investment that are ready. They're off the shelf for looking for investors in that regard. But we are able to talk to you about significant opportunities. We become a very big area now in terms of the agro-processing to do industrial hemp and cannabis. Those are some of the newer sectors that we're looking at, but also looking in areas of technology. There's a massive explosion in terms of e-commerce and the digital economy, particularly in financial services in South Africa. So also the opportunity for collaboration with startups, with South African startups, and particularly in the fintech area. So South Africa, in short, is very diversified. It is very industrialized, but it also has opportunity for significant investment because it's a world of two worlds. It's a very advanced economy, but it also has significant unemployment, significant poverty, and significant area for development in infrastructure. Infrastructure has got constraints, hence we got a massive infrastructure program. And we're looking at investment from the value chain of infrastructure, but also significant manufacturing and industrial opportunities that I would be able to talk to you. And as I said, we have a number of bilateral arrangements or bilateral agreements with countries. And we're happy to talk to both governments as well as companies to look at the opportunity for both trade and investment. So, moderator, I think from my side for now, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yunus, for actually the comprehensive insights into South Africa's economic landscape. And I think it's clear that the nation plays a pivotal role as a trade hub in Africa, and the government's initiative to promote investment and economic growth are indeed commendable. So actually, it will be exciting to see how these developments unfold and create new opportunities in the region, inshallah. So now let's move to our next speaker. I'm pleased to welcome Ms. Mary Wametha, Senior Portfolio Manager, Foreign Direct Investment at Wesgro, the official tourism, trade, and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. Ms. Mary is also interested in technology, and actually she has practical experience in several programming languages like PHP, HTML, and others. She's especially interested in how tech and public policy work together to improve institutions and help people achieve their goals. So welcome, Ms. Mary. And now could you please tell us more about South Africa's economic landscape and also its position as a brilliant trade hub in Africa? And we'd like also to hear about the initiatives taken by Wesgro to promote investment and tourism in Cape Town and the Southern and the Western Cape.
Thank you very much, moderator. As you've all heard, my name is Mary, and thank you very much for having us as the Islamic Chamber of Commerce. I'm from a government agency, investment promotion and tourism promotion agency called Wesgro. And I've got some slides that I'd like to share with you, but I need to just confirm that you can all see them. I'm trying to put them in presentation mode.
Yes, we can see. We can see.
You can see the slides.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So just to give you a brief background about Wesgro, let's move on to the next slide. It doesn't allow me to scroll down. Let's see whether, okay, there you go. So Wesgro is the official tourism, trade, and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. And I think for everyone's benefit, I should point out that each province, each of the 9 provinces in South Africa has an investment promotion agency. So if you think of other provinces like KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, as well as Gauteng, where the business hub is of South Africa. You've got the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency in Johannesburg. You've also got TKZN, the KwaZulu-Natal Agency, and of course, even Wesgro in the Western Cape. Initially, Wesgro was a tourism promotion agency started about 40 years ago by the Western Cape government, but it has since grown in those 40 years into a trade promotion and facilitation agency, and as well as an investment promotion agency to attract foreign direct investments into the Western Cape. We also have parallel projects that run with these activities that we think have the potential of increasing employment in the province, as well as enabling the economy to grow faster and to be able to have a competitive advantage in the region. So one of these, we call them strategic or catalytic projects, is called EduInvest, which is in the education sector, where the government of the Western Cape partners with private companies in the education space to build schools and institutions of learning in the Western Cape. We also have many cruise liners that come into the Western Cape, and we have a project within Wesgro called Cruise Cape Town, which tries to attract more cruise lines into the Western Cape and obviously promote the tourism in this economy, in the Western Cape economy. We also try to bring in more airlines to fly directly from their countries or cities into the Western Cape, attracting more tourism. And as you heard from Mr. Yunus, that we also have Invest South Africa, which is a one-stop shop that helps investors to land easily in the Western Cape. Generally, Invest SA is a national body. It works in all the provinces, but the Western Cape Invest SA is located within the Wesgro offices, which allows us to give a more rounded experience for the investor when they come. They don't have to go to different agencies to receive the kind of support they need when they want to invest in South Africa. So that's just a brief background. I'll try to be quick with some of the other slides so that we can have the other speakers. I'd just like to summarize very quickly what it is that we do. So if you are an investor coming from outside of South Africa into the Western Cape, Wesgro will help you with the registration of your company, with the registration of your tax requirements, opening up a bank account, and any other bureaucratic processes that you have to go through. In addition, we also help with navigating the regulatory environment. So what kind of laws are relevant to your business? Are there any market entry issues that you are having, any permits that you need assistance with? And we're here to do that. We also can provide you with a talent base, because the Western Cape has a huge working population of young people who speak English and who can communicate and have the skills from some of the best universities in Africa. So we can help you with a talent pool, as well as locating your offices where you would want to locate, whether you would want a co-shared working space or whether you want access to land to set up your manufacturing plant. We can assist you with that. We also have incentives from the Ministry, Department of Trade and Industry, and also from Science and Innovation, investments that help to attract investors and make their landing easier. And we also have a team that does strategic matchmaking. So if you are an investor who would like to partner with local businesses in the Western Cape, we are able to create those linkages in various sectors. So that's just a brief background about where we are. I'm going to talk a little bit about the South African economy, and I know my comments and will align with what Mr. Yunus was saying. That South Africa is open for investments. It's a vibrant emerging market connecting Africa to the world. And that's one of the key selling points for the Western Cape. We try to market the Western Cape as a strategic entry point for investors who want to access the African market. So we have a 363 billion economy. It's a bit bigger than that now, with the market access of 63 million people. We also have Africa's most industrialized and diversified economy in Southern Africa and also in Africa, as well as a continental hub for multinationals. I'll speak to that slide later on. As Mr. Yunus said again, we also have abundant natural resources as well as a sophisticated financial services and banking sector, which allows you to invest, bring your money into the country, but also to repatriate the money within the laws. On the next slide, I also have access to the SA Investment Project Book, which is a very good initiative by the Department of Trade and Industry. And I recommend that all of you take it and have a look at it because it has some very interesting projects, but it also gives you a great idea of where South Africa is at the moment and where it's going. So you can know where to position yourself, which industries we're focusing on, which sectors are important to us, which have a social impact and which have more of a trade impact. And some of the things I just wanted to highlight from that is that 50% of the estimated multinationals, of the 400 multinationals in Africa, 50% of them are headquartered in South Africa, and that's a big highlight for South Africa. It's also one of the leading clean tech foreign direct invest destinations on the African continent. And also, as we heard before, that South Africa is integrated into the global economy. We've got the G20 happening here in South Africa. South Africa is also part of the BRICS, as well as the World Trade Organization, WTO. And as we mentioned before, there's a real focus because we have the mineral base for the renewable energy and electric vehicles market. That's one of the key target sectors that South Africa is looking at. Feel free to stop me at any time if you have a question, but in the interest of time, I'll try and finish the slides. So what we say about South Africa is it's a strategic trade hub, right? We have 63 million people. In the SADC region, Southern Africa Development Community, we have 360 million people. And in Africa, we have about 1.3 billion people. And I'll show you the projections in the next slide. So as you heard earlier, also, we have free trade agreements in Africa, various free trade agreements with the EU and with the UK. And why this is important for the Western Cape is a lot of the citrus you heard about is also exported into these markets. And therefore, these free trade agreements are really important, especially for us because we've got ports that we export our products from the Western Cape. So these are the projections I was talking about. If you look at Sub-Saharan Africa's GDP, in 2023, we were looking at $2 trillion, and that's projected to grow to 4.5 trillion by 2040. If you look at Africa's population in 2023, we were talking about 1.3 billion people, but in 2050, in the next few years or so, we'll have about 2.4 billion people. And I think what's important about this is that by 2030, half of all new global workers meaning all the workers in the world, will come from Sub-Saharan Africa. And there's potential there. And I think there's an opportunity that we can take advantage of for investors into South Africa, but also for people who would like to trade with South Africa and the rest of the African market. Just a few points about why we think South Africa is a trade hub. If you look at some of the plans that the government has in South Africa, Transnet, which is our transport logistics government-owned entity, has planned 941 million rand for upgrades by 2030. With a focus on efficiency and competitiveness in ports. So if you're looking at ports like Durban, Cape Town, Richards Bay, Saldanha, they're all undergoing modernization, and the growth is projected to be between 5 and 10%. There's also investments in the rail sector. We're looking at the freight rail market being expected to grow at 5.26% by 2030, which is a significant growth, I think, in comparative terms. Also, the investment outlook for the cold chain storage, which is one of our focus areas in the Western Cape. South Africa has the most sophisticated cold chain market in Africa, supported by advanced warehousing and logistics infrastructure. So this market is also expected to grow at about 7.3% by 2030. These are some of the facts that make us competitive in the region. So we also have advanced infrastructure providing access to domestic, regional, and global markets. If we look at the Western Cape, for example, we have 26 international airlines with direct access to Cape Town. We also have 3 million two-way international passengers in 2024, and we've seen an increase in air cargo of about 27%. The three major ports at Cape Town, Saldanha Bay and Mossel Bay, and the Port of Cape Town are strategically positioned along international trade routes, enabling global access. We could talk about rail and road infrastructure as well as digital infrastructure, 5 submarine cables, a data center hub for the African continent, and an expansive fiber optic cable network. So what I'd like to point out here is historically Wesgro and many trade and promotion investment agencies have been reactive in their approach to investments. So previously, Wesgro would wait for the investors to come to the Western Cape looking for information on how to invest or support or any facilitative services. What we've done in 2025 is we have dedicated a specific unit within the agency that will focus on proactively targeting investors in various markets. So the ASEAN markets, the predominant markets like the UK and the EU, which we already have existing connections, trade connections with. But we also want to attract investors from other regions that are not dominant in the Western Cape. So what we've identified is 6 sectors, food and beverages, and I'll show you the opportunities that we've identified in each of these sectors in the next slide. Food and beverages, the green economy, life sciences and health, services, manufacturing, and logistics. In the food and beverage sector, we are focusing on aquaculture, food processing, anything along the value chain, high-value alternative crops as well. In the green economy, we've heard this before, renewable energy generation and the services that are aligned to that, as well as EV charging infrastructure, electronic vehicles, last-mile delivery vehicles, as well as green hydrogen. And you might know that the Green Hydrogen Conference for Africa is being hosted in the Cape, in the Western Cape. In the life sciences and health sector, because of the vast number of universities and technology and access to skills in the medical sector, we've got very many new innovative surgeries that have taken place in the Western Cape. We focus on digital health solutions because of the technology that's coming up. In biotech, you heard about vaccines and how we are developing vaccines and related medicine relating to biotech, as well as medical devices. South Africa exports medical devices into the rest of Africa. Within the services and the green manufacturing sector, we're looking at accounting and tax and financial services, advertising and marketing, management consulting firms, fintech and e-commerce, and data centers. So what we found is there's an attraction from global multinationals or global players to come into the Western Cape because they believe that the skills, especially the talent of the young people, access to a talent pool, as well as space, and then the ability, the connectivity that we have in the Western Cape is a plus for us. So this is a very strong sector for the Western Cape, as well as green manufacturing. So green manufacturing would be supporting all the renewable sector areas that I spoke about earlier. Investments in the Western Cape are supported by a connected government ecosystem. So what we found in moderator Ezra, you asked me about the challenges that some of the investors face when they come here. Most of them would speak of bureaucracy, right? So they say it would be very difficult for me to get registration in the tax office, to get my bank account registered, to do all of these things in separate stages. And that's why Invest SA One-Stop Shop is such a critical agency for any investor wanting to come into South Africa to go to, because they do this all under one umbrella. making it easier as a contact point for the investor. But Westgrow also collaborates with other agencies. Atlantis is a special economic zone, also located in Cape Town. You get certain incentives if you bring your business into Atlantis. We have Freeport Saldanha, which is also an industrial development zone, looking at renewable energy specifically, but also access to other investments. If you need permits or licenses, are there any bottlenecks as an investor that you are facing? We've got a good relationship with the Western Cape government because we report to them, and we can lead you to the right people to help you unlock whatever barriers you might have. Green Cape as well is a part of the renewable energy sector, and they have a wealth of information and knowledge and networks if that's the area that you're interested in. So there's a beautiful ecosystem that works together. Not everything is perfect, but Westgrow tries to do its best to attract investors and to keep them in the Western Cape. As you heard before, we've got a lot of multinationals here in South Africa, in the Western Cape. We've got DP World, which just made a presentation to us, to the ASEAN market representatives who are here in the Western Cape. We've got PepsiCo, AB InBev from Belgium, Maersk, DHL Group. All these are in the Western Cape. And I could name many others that should give you comfort that if you come to the Western Cape, you're in safe hands. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mary. And actually, it was a comprehensive overview of the exciting initiatives underway at Westgrow. And it's really inspiring to hear how these efforts are dedicated to attract actually foreign direct investment and enhance tourism, contributing to the region's growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ibrahim Patel, the president of Minara Chamber of Commerce. He is a distinguished South African business leader known for his experience in finance, trade, and technology. Acknowledged on a global scale, Mr. Ibrahim was named a Global Future Leader by Crans Montana Forum in 2009 and received the Standard Bank KZN Top Business Recognition Award in 2022. So, Mr. Ibrahim, we are so delighted to have you with us today. So, if you can describe, how would you describe the current economic performance in South Africa, and in what ways the Minara Chamber of Commerce is contributing to economic development in South Africa?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon to all the people that are present on the webinar, and to Ezra and ICCD for this very important webinar that has given focus to a very important country on the global sphere. Now, many people would wonder as to South Africa and its location, and I know my colleagues have spoken about the economy of South Africa and the wide scope of the economy. South Africa is located on the precipice of the African continent. From time immemorial, ancient mariners have been traveling across the coast of the western coast of Africa and up the east coast of Africa, looking to do trade between Europe and the Asian regions. And South Africa has occupied a significant position in that global trade for time immemorial. It has evolved into a central logistical hub and manufacturing hub on the African continent. And as Yunus and Mary have pointed out, that South Africa has got a significant population of 63 million people who speak a diverse number of languages. We have a number of cultures who all come together to form this melting pot of South Africa. And it is through this cultural diversity that we have that economy has become the focus of driving growth in the country. South Africa, as you all know, also occupies a very important and very positive stance in terms of global geopolitics and geoeconomic structures. We have a number of relationships with a number of trading blocs. And the most important aspect of South Africa is that we are centrally located in terms of time. We can deal with the East and we can deal with the West all within the same day because of the time situation of the country. We have a very versatile workforce and a skilled labor force and a very young population. So as Yunus had pointed out and Mary had pointed out, that the population of South Africa is a very young population. Through the relationships that South Africa has with, importantly, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that links the 54 African countries into a trade zone and allows us access to the market of 1.2 billion consumers with a $3 trillion spend, that represents a significant opportunity for any investor accessing into the South African market as a gateway to the African market. So if someone is serious about doing business on the African market, into that huge potential of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, then South Africa is the staging post. And why is South Africa that staging post? We have a well-developed infrastructure in terms of logistical infrastructure. We have one of the best banking regulatory frameworks in the world. In fact, for 2 years running, we were voted the #1 bank governance and financial governance regime in the world in terms of the governance structures that overarch our financial institutions. South Africa has been recognized the #1 innovation hub on the African continent for 2 years in a row. And it is also recognized as having one of the most robust industrial bases on the continent. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of finance, in terms of the capital infrastructure and the availability of finance, South Africa has positive things that go for it. It also has a very robust and very advanced constitution that allows investors the safety and that is entrenched within the constitution of the country. We are a democracy where government is at the will of people. Earlier on was what is the relationship between business and government, and within South Africa, government and business have a very reciprocal relationship. We understand that the symbiotic need between both sectors is great, that business cannot operate without the support of government, expand the economy of the country. As the Chamber of Commerce, MINARA, a fully constituted Chamber of Commerce that is recognized by the government of South Africa, we have relationships with a number of entities across both the business sector with other chambers of commerce. We have formal relationships with the DTIC, Invest South Africa, with Westgrow, with TIKZN, and a number of other entities that represent the South African government. We also have relationships that allows our members and ICCD member countries to interact with each other and build that network. The Chamber has 5 core principles, and that is networking, so that we allow members between our chamber and other businesses to network and look at business opportunities, and from South African businesses with global businesses to look at opportunity trade delegations from South Africa to other parts of the world. And we receive inbound trade parts of the world to South Africa to explore not just investment into the country, but also to grow the export market from South Africa to the rest. Focus on is creating the platform for dissemination of information. So events such as this, webinars such as this, brings together people from across diverse sectors and from across the world to share information so that our members can become more aware of the opportunities that exist on a global scale. The third is we lobby government on behalf of our members. We work very strongly with government, with the different government agencies, whether it is at the level of the DTI, with the Minister of Trade and Investment, or it is with the premiers of the various provinces, or it is with the MECs for economic development. We have a very robust relationship with government, and we lobby government on issues that impact not just our members, but businesses in general. The fourth pillar that we have is on knowledge sharing, where we update our members on regulation that impacts businesses, changes in legislation, and the issues that would affect their businesses and the operation of business. And the fifth is that are seminars where knowledge is imparted by experts on how to run businesses. We support SMEs, we support large businesses. We have a strong focus on women and youth businesses to create the relationship between those sectors, but with other chambers across the globe that have those as pillars of their service. In terms of the economy, as business, we see the economy as slightly different. I think that there are great deals of positivity in our economy, that there are great deals of opportunity. Yunus has pointed out that the opportunity lies, or one of the opportunities was in the halal meat export from South Africa, but we believe that there's a wider opportunity in the halal ecosystem and field, whether it is in Islamic financial transactions. South Africa has launched a sovereign sukuk that was 1.5 times oversubscribed. We have seen that appetite by the South African government for alternative financing methods to fund infrastructure development as the government rolls out infrastructure and it looks for finance for that infrastructure. It is keen on alternative financial structures, such as those that would be present in the sukuk transactions. We have a huge pharmaceutical, as Mary pointed out, that we have a very huge pharmaceutical sector in South Africa that is also now poised to enter into the halal pharmaceutical and cosmetic sector. So the opportunity lies not just in the food sector, but in all other sectors as well. We welcome companies that will be looking at investing in South Africa. We are open to guiding them through the process and linking them up with members of our chamber to see how they can build those strong relationships. We're also looking at how we can move businesses from South Africa to a global stage to enter into the export market. And we welcome with ICCD's information on where opportunities would lie for our members to enter into those particular markets. So in that nutshell, I think both Yunus and Mary have dived deeply into the structure of the South African economy, but that overview that is presented gives a general idea of where the opportunities are. In terms of the significant opportunities that we see in business, in renewable energy, there's a huge opportunity for businesses to enter into the renewable space as South Africa gears up towards being energy self-sufficient and to enter into the renewable space. We see a huge opportunity in agro-processing. We've already seen a number of foreign companies entering into the South African market to explore agro-processing because we have a great deal of land in South Africa and the climate in South Africa is very attuned to different types of farming. We also see a great deal of opportunity in the construction sector for infrastructure build as government, as Yunus pointed out, the 1.2 trillion rand worth of infrastructure development that has been proposed by government, and that represents a significant opportunity in the construction sector. So we think that there are a number of sectors that are very, very positive, and we see the silver linings on it, and would encourage investors from across the globe into the African continent, and also as a staging post between East and West. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim, for actually your valuable insights into South Africa's economic landscape and also the crucial role of Menara Chamber in fostering economic development. Actually, your perspective sheds light on the collaborative efforts needed to drive growth and innovation. At this time, I'd like to remind our participants that if you have any question, please share them in the chat box so that we can answer them in the Q&A session, inshallah. And I think Dr. Herbert is having a technical issue and won't be able to participate with us today, unfortunately. So now let's open the floor for our speakers to share their final thoughts on the future of South Africa's economic growth and private sector development. Starting with Mr. Yunus Hussain, floor is yours to share your vision for the future, please.
Thank you very much, moderator. The one thing I want to say that what stands out in South Africa is that South Africa has a very strong legal and judiciary system. It's a system that works, and South Africa ranks pretty high in terms of investor protection. And we have an investment act that provides the necessary guarantees for investors looking to invest in our shores. From a South African perspective, I think that as a country we're known to punch above our weight, but we see globally tensions and trade wars and countries looking to new partners. And this is where South Africa excels, to seek new partnerships, because we trade with the world. We trade with everybody. And what, for example, the COVID pandemic taught us, in as well as in the global world, that supply chains are getting shorter. The resilient economies are ones that have deepened value chains and supply chains. And South Africa has significant multinationals that are entrenched in South Africa. We're looking to deepen these value chains and supply chains in our country. That's why we've embarked on an aggressive program to build special economic zones and industrial parks that are capable to attract and support industrial activity in the country. But more also, I think in terms of the technological advancements and the digital economy, South Africa is one of the fastest locations, for example, to attract global data center investment to build a capacity for the digital economy. So by and large, our economy, the way it has transformed, more than 60% of our GDP is in services. So it's an economy that is totally diversified and is able to attract investment from all parts of the world. And we're very keen and open to look at new partners. We're a member of the BRICS family. We're also a member of the G20. We will be hosting the G20 this year in November, and we're looking to welcome many companies from in the G20 fraternity. But also alongside the G20, we'll be hosting the President's Investment Conference, and we'd like to invite people that are keen to invest in our country to attend the President's Investment Conference alongside the G20. So South Africa is very keen to look at new partnerships, as well as to sustain and maintain its existing relationships, and look at shifting to more long-term relationships in terms of the both trade and investment into our country, as well as South African companies are now also looking at opportunities abroad. So for us, South African companies are investing abroad in many different countries and jurisdictions, and we welcome that two-way relationship on trade and investment. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yunus. And now let's turn to Miss Mary to know more about her insights to the future of investment in South Africa.
Thank you very much, moderator. But I don't know what else I could add on top of what Mr. Yunus has said. I think he's captured the sentiments and the views that I have as well. Except to say, of course, my focus would be more on the Western Cape, because as much as, yes, we are part of South Africa and we promote South Africa, but we also like to promote the Western Cape as a part of South Africa. But specifically in this region, the Western Cape is seen as a technology hub. And now technology is opening up so many other areas with the advent of artificial intelligence and the kind of robotics and in all spaces, in medicine, in renewable energy, in the manufacturing sectors. So I think this province has real potential for investors who want to come in here. We have the talent, the infrastructure, the research capabilities, and all of that. But lastly, also to say, just in support of South Africa and the Western Cape as well, sometimes when you are looking at a country, it's good to see the good side. What happens when things are looking good for the country, when the economic growth is great? but it's also good to see how a country or a province reacts or the government reacts when there's a crisis. So how quick is the country able to respond to a crisis? So what kind of downtime would I have? And how would that downtime affect my business? For instance, in the Western Cape, we had a water crisis. If you read the information in the news about that, how quick was the Western Cape government able to respond to that kind of crisis? And that will tell you how agile your business will need to be or your investments will have to be when you move into that country. And by all scales, I think South Africa is definitely one of the best countries on the continent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mary. And now let's hear the final thoughts of Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you very much for that, Ezra. I think the most important thing is in business, you have to have human-to-human interaction. And the best way of understanding the opportunities that are presented by a country is for people to visit the country. I would encourage all your viewers to visit South Africa, the opportunities for themselves. We are a country that is diverse. We are a country that has the best weather that I would think of. We can have the sea, we have the mountains, we have the greenery, we have wildlife, we have beautiful environmental sites and recreation. We have and I'm doing the work of Westgrow right now, promoting tourism for them. And I think that they are great places that people can visit. And it is not just about the tourism aspect, but it is about combining the business with it. They would be able to understand the positivity of it and the great potential of the country. So I would encourage all the members that are from the various sectors of ICCD to visit South Africa and get a feel for themselves. And we are here and we are ready to host them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. And I think we need to carry these insights with us as we work together to unlock the immense investment potential and foster a private economy for all, inshallah. As we conclude our webinar, I'd like to thank our speakers for sharing their experience and vision for South Africa's economic future. So thank you, Mr. Yunus Hussain, Acting Deputy Director General of Investment and Industrial Development and at the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mary Umeitha, Senior Portfolio Manager, Foreign Direct Investments at Westgrow, the official tourism, trade and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. Thank you so much, Ms. May.
Thank you.
And a special thanks to Mr. Ibrahim Patel, the President of Minara Chamber of Commerce. Actually, your contributions underscored the immense investment potential in South Africa and also highlighted the crucial role of collaboration in driving the needed growth, actually. And our deep thanks to Minara Chamber of Commerce for their actually dedicated efforts over the past few months to make this webinar a success. Thank you so much, Minara Chamber of Commerce. And for our participants, thank you so much for being part of today's session. And we were very glad to have you with us today. And also, we can't wait to hold our next webinar, inshallah, where you will discover unique investment opportunities in another country that is ripe for discovery. Thank you all, and don't forget to follow our website and social media platform to stay informed about our future sessions and key industry insights, inshallah. Thank you all and have a great day. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.